Hello everyone and welcome, and today I'm delighted to introduce you to my guest Sarah Sharp of a Hibiscus Coast Party Hire. Welcome Sarah.
Hi.
Today Sarah's going to share with us the new ways we're celebrating Christmas in 2020 and weddings of 2021. So Sarah, before we get started on our topic, do you first want to share with us a little bit about yourself and your Hibiscus Coast Party Hire story?
Sure. So my name is Sarah. I live on the beautiful Hibiscus Coast. I'm married to Mike, and between us we have 6 kids. 2 still live at home. I own Hibiscus Coast Party Hire, which I bought about a year ago. Prior to that, I had a 25-year nursing career, so it was a big change.
Right. That's all right. Don't worry. We all have interruptions. We'll keep going.
Okay. I just turned it off. So Hibiscus Coast Party Hire has obviously, like many businesses, undergone big changes in 2020. So I'm now working fully online, and I'm specialising in small event hire. For example, like birthday parties, baby showers, intimate weddings, really for any celebration that's got up to about 50 people is what I'm specialising in now. We have a range of equipment and decor to make your full props and backdrops for your photo walls. I also do lots of balloon work, so balloon garlands, helium bouquets, all of that type of thing to make your event look special.
So I've seen your posts on Facebook, and you really do have some beautiful ideas, especially for balloons, which in talking with you on previous occasions has been a massive part of your business since COVID. Is that right?
That's right. So most events have decreased in size, but people are wanting something a little bit special and custom, and that's where I can really make an impact for not a huge amount of outlay with balloons. There you get a lot of bang for your buck, and something it can really transform a room or a doorway or a backdrop. So yeah, lots of balloon works. It's lots of fun.
Yeah, so balloons just are really, this isn't meant to be a pun or anything, but they're really uplifting just by nature, aren't they?
Yeah,
they mean
really say party.
Yeah, they do. They really do. And there's so many colours that we have these days compared to what you and I would have grown up with. So this, yeah, I know you've got a repertoire of amazing ideas. So it leads us beautifully into my first question. So how are your customer requirements different this year to what they would have been the same time last year?
So really the biggest change has been that people are very nervous. I think they've many weddings have booked and then had to rebook, and then as we're in and out of levels, the size of their events has had to change. So the biggest thing is that people are having to make more than one plan. It's like, here's my A plan that I would like to do, but let's build a B plan into that A plan, so that if we do change levels, we can reduce, but do it in a way that you're not having to start from scratch. So there's actually a lot more work involved, to be honest, because you're
doing 2 weddings.
Doing 2 weddings. It's going to be A or B.
Yeah, right.
You can still take the essence of what the theme or the look that people are really wanting and apply it to both, but you're able to scale up quickly or downscale if you need to. So yeah, having to build flexibility into plans. I think people are getting their head around that idea of having to be flexible. So yeah, it's been an interesting change. And event sizes have definitely changed. So even with that sort of the plan A, it's a lot smaller than the weddings that we've seen in the last the last season. So it has changed.
Yeah, and I suppose with people not having international guests as well, that's a very natural downsizing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which is stressful for people, but there's a lot more, people are setting up Zoom, so you can Zoom in your guests, and so you're still involving those overseas people. I've had, balloons placed on chairs with that person's photo on it, that kind of thing. So there's always still a way to involve people.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Are people putting off their celebrations almost indefinitely until things change, or are they accepting that this is our normal now?
There's a good mixture of both. There have been people, I mean, I had one wedding that was rebooked twice and they've now said, oh, look, we just can't go through. I think emotionally it's too much to plan and then cancel, plan and cancel, and then for a third time. But so there is definitely a group of people that have decided to have that small, intimate wedding with just a couple of people and then maybe have a party later, but that party's different. It's not like a reception would be, it's more like a backyard celebration. So there's definitely a lot of that happening. And then there's the other people who are just going to get their plan A no matter what, and they'll just rebook until it happens.
Right.
But that's a bit of a who knows when.
Okay. Sarah, I wasn't planning to ask you this question, but have funeral celebrations of life, do you get involved in that at all, and has that changed?
Yes, I actually really enjoy doing the funerals. I always feel like it's quite a privilege to be part of that.
Yes.
And celebrate somebody's life. So yes, they have changed, and that's been the same thing throughout this year. Has been, you know, when we were down to 10 people and not being able to attend in person. So again, the balloons have been a big part of that. So I had one funeral director who just used the balloon on seat idea. So a photo and a balloon attached to a chair so that they could zoom it and people could see their place in the video. So they have changed. I've found a lot more people doing a lot more at home funeral services or celebrations. So we're and I think that has been driven a bit by COVID, just where people have gone, I think I'm just going to have it on a smaller scale and just do a celebration at home and maybe a more private service. So there has been a bit more of that. So, yeah.
Okay. All right. That's great. Thank you. All right. So we'll move on to my next question. Can you give us some tips for the workplace and family Christmas party organisers who are trying to create a great event but on a smaller budget this year?
Sure. So what I've been working on a lot with people at the moment is to have, you know, years gone by, you might have had a sit-down meal and everybody has a place setting and it's all done with beautiful linen and crockery. But this year, lots more people are looking for a bit more of a casual event. So we're having some lovely cocktail barliners with some bar stools around it, so not everyone's got a seat, and a much more of having a grazing platter on a buffet table rather than everybody having a meal and a sit down together. And using balloons as part of the decor, fairy lights, they add a bit of wow for a very small budget. I've had actually a couple of businesses where their end of year awards nights have been cancelled in the big city, like going into the city to do them, and each branch has done a Zoom award. And so we've set up that sort of cocktail bar look with their banners in the background and a beautiful balloon installation around it, so they still look on camera, have the wow factor, but you are only got 30 people in the room and you've all got a space to stand around a table and have a few drinks, but it's not that very formal sit down black tie type event.
Right. That sounds really cool.
Yeah, it actually looked amazing. The one that I did last week, it looked great. It was far more intimate. So people actually got to talk to each other, because sometimes I think of those big awards nights, you get sort of a bit lost in it. But yeah, that went really well. Didn't have to go far to get home. Cheap Uber. Was pretty good.
Yeah. And I love the fairy lights. I'd never thought about fairy lights for a celebration. So you hire those as well?
Yeah, and actually you can make a really beautiful, if you put fairy lights inside a piece of organza and use it as a ceiling drape, you can create a room out of anything. So and it looks incredible for very little cost.
Wow. So are you just saying you have an organza drape, ceiling drape, and you just plonk some fairy lights along it? Wow. That's
So it's sort of the light just reflects off the organza and it makes it look like almost like this lovely light tunnel, but it's actually just a very light inside a piece of fabric. So, yeah.
I think I might do that for my Christmas dining table.
Yeah, well, there you go. Yeah, it looks really pretty. And if you have a space with a high ceiling, it makes it more intimate. It sort of brings the ceiling down and defines a space. So it's quite pretty. Yeah.
Okay, so we can get the organza and the fairy lights from you?
Yes.
Fantastic. Okay, before we move on from that question, do you have any other tips for the Christmas party organizer? Or is that your key one?
The key one would be is really just make it going less formal this year, because it's that whole, we don't know if we're going to be in or out of a level. So if you can get some barlinas or cocktail tables, have a buffet table, and then just use your room to decorate the room and make that look special. Put a wow factor in, photo drop. Everybody wants to have their Instagram backdrop. So if you've got that nailed, then you're pretty good. Everybody will be happy, and have a few tables to just mix and mingle rather than having a very formal setting.
Fantastic. Thank you for that. And that sounds great to me, because it sounds like there's less stress around that than the more formal for the organizer, which I think is really important this year, because a lot of people have stress has been, right up there this year. So I think it's great for that. But also, I think people tend to embrace a more casual gathering where they can be themselves as well, rather than sit down and feel very conservative, I guess. So
yeah.
Great
and I
stuff.
think it's when you have those sort of the cocktail type arrangement, it lends itself to mingling. You're not stuck in your chair. People get up and move around, and I mean, you can even just have a couple of bench seats, sort of the vintage bench seats look quite neat, and that can be for the people who do, if you've got an elderly relative who probably needs to sit down a bit more, then you've kind of provided a space for people if they need to sit, but otherwise standing mix and mingle.
Yes,
and then
beautiful.
Also end your night well when people have had enough.
Super critical for the Christmas party.
Christmas Day, that's right.
Okay, so we'll move on to my next question. So after Christmas, the next major event for Hibiscus Coast Party Hire is going to be the weddings of 2021. So how are weddings in particular going to be different for 2021, and how are married or soon to be married couples now dealing with their preparations? So we've discussed A and B options.
Yes.
What else are they doing?
I think there's that I've seen people really are very budget conscious, where even just a year ago, the budgets, while they're still relevant, people were prepared to spend quite a bit on a wedding. This year, people are definitely saying, we just have to watch, because we're not sure. People, I guess, are uncertain about their jobs and what might be coming next year. So there's definitely more a focus on that. But I think you can still have a beautiful wedding without having to, get a mortgage to pay for it. So we've had lots of interest in marquee weddings this year, but maybe not the marquee with all the silk liners and the chandeliers and fancy lighting plans. Maybe it's just pared back a little bit. So still looks beautiful, but perhaps more in that rustic feel. So you might have more people are going for more bench seating and not necessarily having all the linen, maybe a nice wooden trestle table, one of the rustic trestles, and just having it a little bit less, again, it's gone less formal. I think people have had to just really adjust their, what's the right word, expectations to fit around being a bit more sensible and budget conscious for this coming season.
I think that's really nice to be more authentic about what we're doing, because I think the financial pressures that people put upon themselves around celebrations aren't actually necessary. It's the
Yes.
memories that are being created, right?
Absolutely, that's right. It's all about enjoying the people and who's there present celebrating with you. So, you know, you can maybe you can't have the crystal glasses, but you can have the glass glasses. Will anybody really remember that?
Yeah,
Probably
yeah.
the spelling there, but you know, you can't. It is possible. It will still look beautiful. You can. There are things you can do to make sure you keep that budget in check.
Yeah, and you're the expert. So if somebody's unsure, you've got so much knowledge that you can share with them. So if they're confused in their mind, I'm confident that you would be able to assist them on that, right?
Love to. Yeah.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
I went to a high school reunion just this past weekend, and I tell you what, they not a great deal of expense. So we paid for ourselves. It wasn't expensive, and things were done in the 80s style. So it was, you know, it had a cheaper look about it deliberately. But I tell you what, we had so much fun. It really was about all the interactions. They set up the room beautifully, not expensively. So I hear exactly what you're saying. And I think it's great that we're embracing that.
Exactly, and I think you get a few key props and then work from there, and that doesn't have to be expensive. You just have to be a bit creative. So, yeah.
And that's you.
Yeah.
If you don't have it for yourself, like me.
Yes.
Oh, that's fantastic, Sarah. I think I hope that our audience is going to not put too much pressure on themselves leading into Christmas and our weddings of 2021. I'm going to be saying that in a few of my final vlogs this year, because it's not necessary. We've had a tough year, many of us. Be kind to ourselves and enjoy what we do have, and you can help them do that. So have you got any final words before we close?
Well, thank you for having me, first of all.
Oh, pleasure.
And I think you've really hit the nail on the head. It's actually about the people that you're with and enjoying the company and having a celebration at the end of this year after what's been the hardest year most people will probably ever remember, or the most unusual and unexpected anyway. And it's really about the people and relationships you're with. Just that's the thing to focus on in a celebration. All of the other stuff is secondary, but you know, come and talk to me. I can help a budget go a long way.
Oh, that's fantastic. So before we go, at the end of our chat, I will display your website, but is that the easiest way for people to reach out to you?
Yes, most definitely. So either just send me an email through the inquiry form, or you can book everything online. But if you want to have a chat, give me a call or send me an email.
Okay, and your website address is?
hibiscuspartyhire.co.nz.
Easy. Thank you so much, Sarah. Thank you to our audience for watching today. I hope you found some inspiration and some safety in that there are ways to celebrate and decorate your event without breaking the budget. So thank you for watching. Bye for now. Stay safe.
Bye.